right, by the title of the video, you guys can probably tell that I'm doing a review on these Spika Striker Gators. Now, before I go into the pros and cons of these, let me just say that I have put on the miles. I have done the testing of these things far before I have started doing this review. I got these at the beginning of 2025, and I've worn them since then. They have been absolutely phenomenal. I just achieved my shed goal of 300 sheds for 2025. I have put these through over 1,000 miles just in 2025 in the last 3 months. And so I really made sure to put these through the absolute test. They've been on bear hunts, turkey hunts, all sorts of things, through rivers, through snow. And I really made sure that not only that I was going to like them, but I can give an honest opinion and review on these things when it came time. And today's that day. I've been loving these things, and I've gotten a few questions over the past 3 months about them. And so with that being said, let's get into them. So the most obvious thing that I look for in a gator is durability. You know, I mean, that's the thing we're talking about, is how they've lasted this long and beaten through brush and stuff. Pretty much they have held up completely fine. There is no tears, no holes, nothing that would make me say, you know, these things are weak or they won't last, you know, hunting season or anything like that. So durability, huge thing when I look for gators. So if you're looking for a durable pair of gators, these got you covered on that. All right, next topic we're going to cover is how stiff these things are. So it's a good stiffness to where some stiff gators, you bend down and they cut off your circulation, like around, you know, the inside under your knee and around there. And so these things are just stiff enough to where they don't do that, but they stay up your pant leg. And so they never creep down all the way. They never creep at all in that matter. And so that's huge. I've heard a lot about those in the reviews of other gators. They end up, you know, up here, they end up creeping down to your boot, and you know, who wants that? You know, that kind of defeats the purpose of gators. And so that's another great thing about these. They don't creep down, they stay up, they work how they're supposed to. So these are a little bit stiffer, like I just said, and that kind of goes into the next point. And these are called Striker Gators, and they are snake proof. They have not tried them on rattlesnakes, and so that's what we primarily have in the western states. But they have tested them on every poisonous snake in Australia, and so I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a big plus, you know, walking in this desert stuff where we do have rattlesnakes. And it just gives you a peace of mind, you know, just walking around and not having to worry about snakes. These are snake proof, so that is a huge thing for me as well. I don't necessarily have to worry about putting on actual, you know, heavy sweaty snake gators. Next point I wanted to cover is they are waterproof. So that is another really big thing that I am looking at when I am getting a gator. Is, I mean, it's huge. I cross creeks, like I said before. I walk through a bunch of snow, and man, wet pant leg, that's terrible. Like, one of the two biggest things for me in gators is durability and has to be waterproof, and these do just that. So these are waterproof. They're great for, you know, late season or early season when the snow's melting. So that's great. Next thing I wanted to cover is their straps down here. Now I have mine off right now. From time to time I do take them off because I go through them like crazy. They have these wire replaceable straps that come down here. So a lot of brands have either a fabric or a strap, a plastic strap, and those are the first things that go usually in gators, and they're the first things that went for these too. Everything was completely durable, and those were too. They're really strong cable wires, and they're replaceable, and you know, they're pretty cheap. And it took all these 3 months, over 1,000 miles, 300 sheds, multiple other walks, to finally break within the last week or so. And so it's the end of May, and within the last week or so they finally broke at the end. So I'm ordering a bunch more. But that is another awesome thing about these, is that they're not built in, and so like when they do rip, you're not screwed. And you can buy you know, cheap, but also very durable those wire straps for when they do break, because they will eventually. Now for the cons, I have very little bad things to say about these Gaiters. They are absolutely phenomenal, the best Gaiters I've ever worn. But there is one part that just gets extreme rubbing, I think, in all the Gaiters I've worn. This is one of the first things that comes apart or tears, and that is, I don't know if you guys can see that, this little strap piece that connects to a kind of like O-ring that connects to those replaceable wires that go into your boot. It started to unravel the threading on those, and it's still, I mean, it's still strong on there. It just unraveled threading on the upper part, which is easily sewable. Like, you don't have to be a professional sewer to, you know, work on that or fix it or whatever. So I'm gonna do that here soon, and it's gonna be a piece of cake. And it's only on the inner sides, because that's where your boots, you know, rub together, or mostly what tends to rub together on mine anyways. The backs are completely sturdy, completely fine, and that is the only thing that's ever came apart, and it's only on the right side, so it might have just been a loose thread. That pretty much wraps it up for these Gaiters, guys. I love them. These are the Spika Striker Gaiters. Absolutely love these things. Super strong, waterproof, awesome wire bottoms. They don't slide down your pant leg. Just an overall great Gaiter. You guys can also check out my recent YouTube videos, and you can check out Wildborn Outdoors on Instagram to just, you know, double check, do your research, you know, check out how many miles I've put on, how many sheds I've found, you know, all the proof is on there. You know, do your due diligence, you know, look up other reviews and stuff like that. But there's not much bad to say about these things. You know, that one little thread deal, that's about it. Everything else has just been incredible this year so far. So highly recommend. These are the Spika Striker Gaiters from Spika. Hope you enjoyed this review. Drop a comment if you end up getting it and liking it or don't like it. Let me know. I'd love the feedback, but I highly recommend these. I hope you guys have a good day.